When I say to you that QIA plus has nothing to do with LGBT, this is what I mean.
I don't prefer vagina. I don't like.
It shouldn't matter whether they have a vagina or a penis or anything.
Today I'm reacting to a lesbian debate, and the topic is, would they date a trans woman? Let's watch.
Does she have a vagina? I don't like.
That's a genital preference.
Disgusting to say genital preference. Please don't call it a genital preference. It's a sexual orientation. I don't prefer vagina. I don't like.
Preach. That response was perfect. It is disrespectful and disgusting to say to a lesbian, well, it's just a preference that you don't like eggplants. No, that's the whole point of her being a lesbian. Lesbians don't like eggplants. The only people who can actually use the term genital preferences are bisexual people, because they're the only ones who are attracted to both sexes, both genders, same thing. Your sexual orientation is innate. You cannot help who you're attracted to. I prefer to date men who are older than me, but that doesn't mean that I could never date a man my age. I prefer chocolate over ice cream, but that doesn't mean that I don't like ice cream. A lesbian is a woman who's attracted to other women, and a woman is a biological female. Trans women will never be women because they're biological men, and you cannot change your biology. The reason why trans activists use the term genital preference is a way for them to validate trans women as women. Meaning, if you're a straight guy or you're a lesbian woman, you don't want to date a trans woman? Well, that's the same as if you don't want to date a tall woman, a woman who's taller than you, because they're different. Trans women are women, they're just a different type of woman. So that's completely fair if you don't want to date them. Right. The thing is, trans women are not women. A trans woman is not a different type of woman. A trans woman is a different type of man. A man dealing with gender dysphoria. The problem with validating trans women as women is you actually erase lesbians. If trans women are real women, then lesbians should be attracted to them. But they're not.
You do not have a preference for that genital portion. That is labeled as genital preference.
That's your label.
Exactly. What you just said made sense in your community, in your world, which is extremely intolerant and doesn't make sense to the majority of all people. Creating a new language, making up some rules, are the only ways that these people can actually win arguments. Or rather, win arguments. They do not live in the real world. The rest of us do. It's so funny to me that these people think that they're actually smart. Well, they make up the rules, the language, so in some ways they can never lose. Luckily, in real life, they are the losers.
It shouldn't matter whether they have a vagina or a penis or anything.
Excuse me, that's none of your business. You do not have the right to say what other people should be attracted to. Lesbians have been told for years, well, you just haven't met the right man yet. You haven't slept with the right eggplant yet. Apparently now it's socially acceptable within the trans community to say, it shouldn't matter what people have in between their legs, you just have to sleep with them. So when I say to you that QIA plus has nothing to do with LGBT, this is what I mean. What this horrible woman is saying to Ariel in this clip is extremely homophobic, extremely narcissistic, or I don't know about narcissistic, but it represents a narcissistic community/movement. I think we can all agree that she's even worse than these straight men hitting on lesbians in bars. I think most of them saying, oh, you just haven't met the right man yet, I think they're joking. This woman is not joking. She generally believes that lesbians should be attracted to eggplants, and she wants you to believe in it too.
I should, convince myself that I have to be attracted to somebody's genitals if I'm not.
There's nothing more to this conversation, and I think it's a shame. Why did they cut the clip here? I would love to hear what she answered, so I hope that Jubilee didn't cut it out because the woman was too obnoxious and said something too offensive. What could her excuse have been? No matter what, Ariel is right. This is what these people want you to do. Convince yourself to be attracted to trans people. The fake trans people, of course. The men and women who self-identify as trans, who don't make any effort to look like the opposite sex. The last time I checked, it's not possible to convince yourself that you're attracted to a certain sex. The last time I checked, conversion therapy doesn't work.
Trans women are women regardless of where they are at in their transition?
No, and they're not women after they have transitioned. A trans woman will always be a biological male, and it's okay, just so you know.
Trans women are trans women. And
I don't think it's nice either to just say trans women are trans women instead of...
But they are.
Do you have a problem with trans women? If it offends you so much to call trans women, you obviously have something against trans people. Your mentality is, God forbid someone is trans. We have to lie to these poor trans women and say that they're real women because the worst thing in the world would be for them to be trans. You call trans women women just out of pity, and I think it's very disrespectful. So if you actually want to validate trans people and be a good ally, please don't erase our experience. This is a conversation about sexual orientation. You cannot be sexually attracted to somebody's brain. You cannot be sexually attracted to self-ID, if that makes sense. Nor should you.
You're kind of saying that they're not the same as us.
They're not.
I know that the woman with the pink hair probably has great intentions, probably means well, but if you get offended by the statement, trans women are not real women, you don't think it's nice to not validate them as real women? What you're implying is, God forbid that somebody is a trans woman and not the real deal, a biological woman. Let me remind you, there's nothing wrong with being a biological male with gender dysphoria living life as a woman. So if you agree with me, stop saying that trans women are women.
I wouldn't rule out dating anyone who's trans. I think I'm also like a very progressive and open-minded person.
I don't like the fact that you used open-minded. I'm not closed-minded because I have a sexual orientation that's monosexual.
I adore Ariel. She's my friend. She's a great person. And that's what you can sense here. And you can sense that she's not being angry at these people. She's actually disappointed. And that's kind of a great tactic. Even though she was sincere, it's a great way to catch people's attention. Because sometimes the room can get really quiet when someone is expressing their disappointment. What sex you're attracted to has nothing to do with how open-minded you are. Oh my God. I cannot believe I just said that. It's such a given. And I know I don't need to explain this either, but Ariel is one of the most open-minded people I have ever met. If the term trans ally is a real thing, she is one of the best I have ever met. Just take a look at her YouTube channel. She talks to so many different types of people because she cares and she's curious about people. And that's something that I can relate to too. I care a lot about analyzing another person's energy, also in this conversation, and I don't think that the last girl is evil. I think she has a quite innocent energy. The woman with the short hair who calls herself non-binary, different story. Look, generally speaking, I think that we should all be way more nicer to each other, be way more sympathetic. However, the minute that we start to recognize narcissistic behavior, don't even try to be the bigger person and the nice one. Toxic and narcissistic behavior should not ever be tolerated. And if you want to be a better person overall, you have to start with respecting yourself first. It is hard to be a good person if you let other people shit on you, bully you, control you. In order to be the best version of yourself, you have to make the distinction between innocent, naive, stupid people and then evil, narcissistic a-holes. You are allowed to care about others, but you have to be able to put your foot down and say, enough is enough. Khalas, ma bidi. Thank you all for watching this video. If you want to see more content like this, remember to hit subscribe and the notification bell. If you want to support me and my work, my PayPal is in the description down below. You can also support me through locals.com or by becoming a member of this channel. I love you all and I hope to see you in my next video. Peace out.